It's a warm welcome here in our studios in Serekunda. This is Star TV News with me, Sarah Kamara. In the headlines tonight, number of confirmed coronavirus cases peaks to 11 as Health Ministry confirms a new case. Dynamic Sarahule Association donates food items to Tanka Tanka. On the international scene, UK deaths passed 26,000 as care homes are added. Myanmar Aung Suu Kyi failed to live up to her reputation as a humanitarian, says UN outgoing envoy. Irfan Khan, one of India's best crossover actors, dies at the age of 53. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Thursday briefing on COVID-19 marks the 11th number of cases listed in the Gambia since the confirmation of a first case on 17 March 2020. However, a new case has been registered as a result of a Senegalese national who entered the country through Farafenni border. Dr. Bitey indicated that the Health Ministry has been engaging the public through the media in order to create more awareness on COVID-19. He further urged the security sector to strengthen its efforts in pinning out those coming through porous borders illegally. In a press release sent to media houses, the public is hereby informed that the President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency Adama Barrow, acting under Section 76 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, is pleased to declare Friday, 1st May 2020 a public holiday throughout the Gambia, in observance of the International Workers' Day. President Barrow is aware of the economic impact of COVID-19 on workers and has launched the government food support response to COVID-19 amongst other measures. Workers are encouraged to stay home and continue to abide by the preventive health measures to stay safe against the coronavirus. COVID-19 is real, and together we can prevent its spread. The release ends. The Dynamic Sarahule Association for Change and Development on Wednesday donated bags of rice and sugar to Tanka Tanka Psychiatric Hospital and Mile 2 Prison. The donations are in connection of the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, as the government has called on all institutions and private sector to help in the fight against this deadly disease. Maria Madem was there, and she now reports.
The president of the association, Mr. Mohamed Silla, noted that they donated the food items because their association is established to give back to the community. He further said that as majority of the people are out of work due to the COVID-19, they decided to help out as government alone cannot do it. The Secretary General of the association, Mr. Abdullah Juara, also made similar remarks, saying the association deemed it necessary to support the vulnerable, especially in these trying times.
People to stay home and then stay safe, at least they need to be fed. So we believe whatever little we can contribute, it's important that we come up with it and then present it to the nation, and then we urge others to emulate this little effort that we are also doing. We are doing to ensure that we contribute our quota. It's a youthful organization, membership both local and abroad. We have members all across the globe. They are very keen in ensuring that we complement the effort of the government to ensure that we fight this terrible disease called COVID-19.
The PRO of the association, Musa Bajaha, said the donation is in connection with the association's efforts to fight against the deadly virus and be a helping hand to the vulnerable people, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic.
To present bags of rice and sugar to our members, and also Mile 2 prison and Tanka unit. Is also part of the dynamic effort to fight this COVID-19, as the government of the Gambia called all individual and private sectors to take part of this COVID-19. So Dynamic is a leading association in the Gambia, was registered in 2009. Since then, we have made an effort to complement the government efforts, especially on the National Development Plan. So today we are here to present the rice on the behalf of the Sarahule community and on the behalf of the Dynamic Sarahule Association. Our aims and objective is this, to bring this rice to give to the needy people, those who are in the association and outside the association.
The donation is in connection of the fight against COVID-19 pandemic, as government has called on all institutions and private sectors to help in fighting the deadly disease coronavirus. Maria Madem, reporting for Star TV News.
And now, news beyond our borders. The UK government was questioned over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic, as deaths in the country rose to more than 26,000, the second highest in Europe. Opposition members asked about why seniors were continuing to die in elderly homes and what the government was doing about the lack of protective gear for medics. In Europe, Germany is facing its worst recession since World War II, while Spain's number of deaths continue to drop. Al Jazeera Nadine's Baba reports.
On behalf of everyone in the House of Commons, may I say congratulations to the Prime Minister and Kerry Simmons on the birth of their son.
An unexpected announcement as Boris Johnson, just back at work after being in intensive care with COVID-19, and his fiancée celebrate some good news. So for now, Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab carries on deputising, including here at Parliament, for a Prime Minister's question time where most MPs took part virtually, not in person. Opposition leader Keir Starmer wanted to know why there were still so many people dying of coronavirus in care homes and shortages of protective equipment for frontline health workers.
We're possibly on track to have one of the worst death rates in Europe. On Monday, the Prime Minister said in his short speech that many were looking at our apparent success in the United Kingdom. But does the First Secretary agree with me that far from success, these latest figures are truly dreadful?
He also asked when the government would communicate a strategy for lifting the current restrictions. Dominic Raab simply said it was too early.
But he will know, because I know he's an assiduous follower of the international evidence, that Germany is now having to think twice about easing up on the measures because of the risk of a second spike. This is exactly the risk that the Governor of the Bank of England referred to last week, that I referred to on the 16th of April, and that Sage and the scientists have been referring to.
Germany's economy minister says he now expects the economy to shrink this year by minus 6.3%, meaning the country's deepest recession since World War II. Output is predicted to rebound by more than 5% next year, but that depends on Angela Merkel's government being able to gradually lift lockdown measures. From Wednesday, Germans have to wear a mask when entering shops, which began to open last week. Nose and mouth coverings are already compulsory on public transport. But while this kind of travel is permitted, international trips are very much off the agenda.
The Cabinet decided that global travel restrictions for non-essential and holiday travel will be upheld until June the 14th. This is a decision that we have had to take because we are not at the point in our fight against the disease to be able to offer safe travel.
Meanwhile, Spain, officially Europe's worst-hit country, has recorded a daily coronavirus death count below 400 for the 6th day in a row. In these sombre times, that's reason to be hopeful. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera.
The United Nations outgoing human rights envoy for Myanmar has said the country's leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, has failed to live up to her reputation as a humanitarian. Her time in the role has been especially dominated by Myanmar's crackdown in Rakhine State in 2017. About 750,000 people, mostly Rohingya Muslims, fled across the border to Bangladesh. Now, Yang Lee has also told Al Jazeera that she believes Myanmar's army carried out ethnic cleansing. Al Jazeera's Winehave reports.
For more than 2 years, Yang Hee Lee was unable to do her job properly. The United Nations expert on human rights in Myanmar was barred from the country in late 2017 as the government labelled her biased and unfair. Just months earlier, security forces had begun their latest and most violent crackdown against Rohingya communities in Rakhine State. Now, as she prepares to leave her position, Lee says the military continues to deliberately target Rohingya and other ethnic groups as it fights a Buddhist separatist army.
They know where the houses are, they know where the villages are, they know where schools are. One monastery was also hit, and shellings and bombings continue. And it's really hard to believe that they're not targeting civilians.
Following the violence of 2017, hundreds of thousands of Rohingya fled to neighbouring Bangladesh, where they remain. The murder, rape and torture carried out by security forces was documented by many rights groups and resulted in genocide charges being laid against Myanmar at the International Court of Justice. In December last year, Myanmar's leader Aung San Suu Kyi travelled to The Hague to open her government's defence against the charges, which she said are misleading. In a preliminary ruling, the judges ordered the National League for Democracy, or NLD government, and the military to take steps to prevent further attacks on the Rohingya. But Lee and other observers say nothing has happened.
It's not just about the active human rights attacks by the Burmese army, it's also the system of repression that is in place. And both the army and the government have done absolutely nothing to lift those restrictions on the Rohingya population. Their restriction of movement, their right to citizenship, all of those which are essentially apartheid conditions in Rakhine State remain.
Suu Kyi was once held up as a symbol of hope for Myanmar, but her silence and inaction on rights abuses mean most of that hope has been extinguished. Yang Hee Lee says she's utterly disappointed in her.
We all knew that she was put on a pedestal or portrayed as the icon of democracy and human rights. But ever since the NLD has taken office and ever since she took the office of the state counselor, all of her actions and her words, statements point otherwise.
There's an election scheduled later this year and Suu Kyi's party will be expected to win again. Many believe the military, which once ruled the country for almost 50 years, will continue to control it from behind the scenes. And the UN's new human rights inspector will probably continue to be banned. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera.
The internationally renowned Indian actor Irfan Khan has died of cancer at the age of 53. He began his career in India television and Bollywood movies, but he went on to star in Hollywood films including Life of Pi, Jurassic World and Slumdog Millionaire. Al Jazeera Kalsum reports.
He was one of India's most recognized faces, treading red carpets around the world. But his success was gained after many years of struggle. Born in 1967 in Rajasthan, Sahibzada Irfan Ali Khan switched from chasing a career in cricket to one in acting and graduated from India's most prestigious theatre school. In 1988, he made his debut in the acclaimed Salaam Bombay, produced by Indian-American filmmaker Meera Nair. But his small role won little praise. That changed in 2001 when he starred in British movie maker Asif Kapadia's The Warrior. The low-budget film went on to win several international awards, including a BAFTA for Best British Film. In an interview with Al Jazeera, the actor said, despite acting in many Bollywood and Hollywood films, it was his role in the 2008 Oscar-winning Slumdog Millionaire that transformed his life.
Doctors, lawyers never get beyond 16,000 rupees. He's on 10 million.
For actor, the main thing is to enter into mass audience psyche. And that, fortunately it happened with me because of consecutive films. I did Mighty Heart, then Namesake, then Darjeeling Limited, and suddenly after that, this film came in. A lot of people who didn't see Mighty Heart or Namesake, they saw my film, they saw me in Slumdog. Then they, researched about me, and then they saw the earlier films. So that's important, where it leads, nobody can say,
That success led Irfan to more films and greater recognition at home and abroad, including a National Film Award and India's fourth highest civilian award, the Padma Shri. Then, he shocked fans with this announcement on Twitter in 2018. Irfan had been diagnosed with a rare form of cancer. After nearly 2 years of treatment in London, Irfan returned home to shoot Angrezi Medium that would turn out to be his last film. It was released last month. The news of Irfan Khan's death has brought tributes pouring in from across the world, with his fans remembering the legacy of an actor who wasn't interested in his fame living on.
I don't want to be remembered. No. I just want to know what's going to happen after I'm gone. After you leave your body, if I can feel that for a moment, that will be my, worthy being alive. I don't want to be remembered any which way.
And before we end the news, a recap of our main headlines. Number of confirmed coronavirus cases peaks to 11 as ministry confirms a new case. Dynamic Sarawak Association donates food items to Tanka Tanka. UK debt passes 26,000 as care homes are added. Myanmar and Sanju Kyi failed to live up to her reputation as humanitarian, says UN outgoing envoy. Irfan Khan, one of India's biggest crossover actors, dies at the age of 53. That's all for this edition of the news. Please enjoy the rest of our programs and join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you.